Well, the greenhouse is full. This is called Cardinal Climber. It is a random, it was one of those crazy things. You're at a store and you see something and you're like, oh, that sounds cool. And we tried it, and we have never been able to get it to grow. So we're going to try again. And we'll see. There are now older seeds, but not super old. They say they're a slow germinator, and they make some suggestions on soaking or this or that or the other thing. We'll see. I'm going to try them in here, just one row. If they don't do anything, because they never came up last year, I'm going to probably do a heavy germination test on them and see. They said you can direct seed them, but the problem with direct seeding sometimes, if you have a difficult to germinate plant, is it's really hard to keep things wet enough here. So these are supposed to be planted 1/2 inch deep, which is why you just saw me make all those holes with my fingers. I'm going to put 2 in each cell, and they're on opposite ends, which means if they do get 2 in one cell, it won't be too hard to split them. And usually, both of them will survive when you split them. If they're right next to one another, splitting them can be iffy. There we go. Yay. And we were really hoping these would grow, because supposedly hummingbirds really like them and all that kind of stuff. And we're big fans of hummingbirds. And if you watch our channel, you'll see plenty of hummingbirds, because so far we've had black-chinned hummingbirds and rufous hummingbirds this year. Rufous are rare here. We're not in their summer range, so they should be migrating through. We actually had trouble with, I thought it was a rufous, but it may not have been. We had trouble a couple of years ago with, mostly what we have around here is black-chinned and once in a while broad-tailed. And they pretty much work it out. The boys yell at one another, but the girls, you could have 5 females on the feeder rotating around in a circle, taking turns, and they're fine. The males are the ones that are a pain in the you-know-where. There was one that, they're a larger hummingbird, and they come up from the south. They're rarely here, and they are bullies. And that got to the point where I was actually chasing the darn things away so that the other hummingbirds, and we put 2 feeders out that year, and they would still try and hog both of them at the same time. So very obnoxious, but we love hummingbirds, and we're going to be experimenting a bunch this year to see if we can get them in closer. They do get used to you if they're residents. In other words, if they are nesting in the area somewhere and you're out there a lot, like when you're gardening and stuff, they will get used to you. And I've had hummingbirds land on me before and stuff like that, even without, baiting them with sugar syrup or something. They just get used to you being around, and they realize you're not a threat to them. And we always make sure we provide water in addition to food. So that's kind of a big deal around here, to provide water. That makes you a good guy instantly. Now this is an experiment. These are some daylily seeds that I collected a couple of years ago. And I'm going to plant them all because I want daylilies. We have tried to get daylilies this year, hard, and Henry managed to find some roots. We were not impressed with the quality. It was at a big box store, those kits they sell. But I'm going to basically use up all the daylily seeds I have here, and we'll see if we can get any of them to start. I did a bunch of research on daylilies, and don't run away. There we go. It bounced. Boing. And how to grow them and all that other stuff from scratch. And I'm like, there's just seeds. I could do this. I just had a seed fly away. Where is it? There it is. These are kind of wrinkly looking little black seeds. but they're decent enough size that you can actually find them if you drop them, which is a good thing because I've just dropped a couple. I'm going to plant all of the seeds I have because they either work or they don't, and if they don't, I want to know. We are known to sometimes collect seeds randomly when we're someplace. These were collected from a hotel. They had some nice daylilies that were out in their plantings, and some of the daylily flowers were still there, so you can see I'm pretty sure these are yellows. They had set some seeds, so I'm like, okay, we're going to try it. But I think it's worth trying, especially since they haven't had any potted plants at places we've been at lately, and the kits that they sell, where they sell you the pot, the dirt, and the seeds. I was not impressed by the quality of the roots. I was not impressed by the quality of the roots. Well, I think it's worth a try, and we're sort of trying to coddle them out in the bed there, but whether it works or not, I have no way of guessing. Now, let's see. So we have those done, and I am going to, this is another one of those things where somebody sends you seeds. I have not had great luck with seeds from this particular company. I will not mention their name. They're saying 7 to 10 days germination on this. The other ones, they were telling me I should just like sprinkle them out on the world. There's not many things around here that will survive sprinkling them out on the world. They're saying no more than 1/16 of an inch. These are poppy seeds. Poppies often don't really want to be covered. If you're aware of how poppy seeds are actually distributed in the wild, they have, well, the California poppies that we have in our yard here, I bought the seeds for them, oh geez, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. And what they do is they literally shoot the seeds. I mean, it's like a National Geographic or or something like that. They shoot the seeds all over the place, and it's very cool. We're gonna try this again. I really would like these. These are a double, sort of a pinky sort of thing, and they're supposed to be OP and open pollinated. In other words, they breed through and all that other kind of happy stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. We won't know until we see. Next thing is love in a mist. Again, we usually have some love in a mist that comes up by itself. Now, if you're not familiar with love in a mist, it's also called Nigella. It is a cool plant. It has leaves that are sort of similar to dill. In fact, sometimes when they're tiny, you're not sure whether you've got a dill plant or whether you've got a Nigella plant. So it's got a kind of a ferny leaf to it, and the pods are actually Chinese lantern sort of a thing. And they're cool. They're very cool. I have some older seeds, and I have some that are newer that I harvested myself. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to use all the old ones in one row, and then some of the new ones in the other one. They usually, like I say, we usually get a bunch that self-seed. They're saying it can be blue, mauve, pink, white, or Delft blue. I have never had anything other than Delft blue. These are the old seeds from Johnny's. Right here. Blink. And then I'm going to put the new ones here that I harvested. And we'll see what colors, if we get anything besides blue, because we always have blue. And that's not to complain, because they're a gorgeous blue. They're, how can I describe the blue? It's very similar to the super bright blue that you get with bachelor buttons. So it's a wonderful, long-blooming plant that then produces these wonderful seed pods, which are great in a flower arrangements, dried arrangements. They're just plain cool. And the inside of that Chinese lantern sort of arrangement, they have these little black seeds, which you could get out. It's kind of messy, but you can get them out. So there they go. And then I have one row left. Now, this is a tough one because I don't want to make a mess. And by making a mess, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another tray, and I'm actually going to I need to start my sunflowers. But I don't want to start them in this because some of these things will be up fairly quickly, like tiara. Godfather and the other peppers could take 2 or 3 weeks to come up. Tiara will probably be up in less than a week. Cardinal basil will probably be up in a week, week and a half. Cardinal climber. They're saying that's a long germination period. Daylilies I know can take a while. The poppies have no clue. Lavender mist will come up relatively good. But if I do sunflowers, they're going to not only come up quickly, probably within 2 or 3 days, but they're going to get huge. So I'm not going to put them in this one. Instead, I'm going to grow husk cherries in here. Husk cherries are another, they're in the nightshade family. They produce a fruit that is about the size of a dime. I think maybe sometimes they get as big as a nickel, but most of the time they're about a dime. They are a slow germinate, must stay moist type plant. I'm going to stick a couple of seeds in each of the cells because these are a older seed, I believe. Here, I'll double check. Oh yeah, these are slightly older seeds, not ancient, but older. We really, really, really enjoyed these last year as a fresh fruit out of hand. We would bring them in, I would bring them in and stick them in the counter, and we would just munch them as, you know, like the same way as you'd munch blueberries. You just grab them as you run by, and it was just so much fun. Husk cherries are in the nightshades. So they're in the same family as tomatillos. In fact, they actually kind of look like, if you've ever seen a tomatillo, you have this husk, and when you open it, the tomatillo is inside it. And it's the same thing with these guys, but they are definitely a fruit. They resemble a small gooseberry, and they have a very, like, crisp outer shell, and when you bite it, it's the thing that comes to mind is gooseberries again, because you get that crisp outer shell, outer skin, and it pops sort of when you chomp it, and then it's full of really juiciness, and it's almost a tropical flavor. I really like it. We were not sure we would love it. We adored it last year, and we have decided we must grow it every year because that's not something we can sometimes get gooseberries, but we're certainly not going to get husk cherries here. So we have to grow our own. So I need to get this guy set up with a heat mat and a dome. I got to water him first, obviously. And we're going to just stash him over here, and then I'm going to go get some more. Got to decide whether I'm going to get a whole tray or I'm going to get a partial tray and get the rest of my seeds in. I'm trying to catch up. I'm almost completely caught up now. Next week, we have to start growing some of the fast-growing things, like cucumbers. Our cucumbers are going to go directly into the greenhouse. We have no intention of planting them in the yard. Last year, we grew some in the greenhouse and some in the yard. And basically, we wound up with way too many cucumbers. You got to come back and see what happens. I am going to be doing lots. Things are starting to calm down in terms of the number of seeds that need to be planted, although in the next 3 weeks, there will be a bunch of tender things planted that need to be kept completely safe. As I said, the cucumbers, I think I'm probably going to just get a 4-pack. I've got some cool 4-packs that are just like 4 cells. And I'll probably just plant up a 4-pack of cucumbers because they grow quickly. And then I'll set up to just transplant them into the greenhouse immediately. I won't make them go anywhere else in between times. Until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because obviously we're going to be doing a ton more. And I got to water these guys and get on with it. So, bye.